So it's been a while since I did a rant on this channel, and I'm gonna just go ahead and get into it. I went on a video and it led me to another video, and it said Dr. Umar Johnson, and I said, okay, let me go check this out. I started watching him. It was on the Breakfast Club, and I only needed a few minutes in, and I said, fraud, fraud, hustler. He sounds about one step up from a corner street hustler that has advanced his game, elevated his game from corner street card hustler to, this level up here where he's at now. And I can't believe people follow him and fall for him. And I didn't just watch that one video, y'all, and come up with that conclusion. I watched many videos of his, good and bad. And I wrote some notes down because I don't want to forget. I usually refer to my notes. Y'all know that if you watch me. First of all, doctor. Is he a real doctor? Someone said in some comments that he got a degree of something from somewhere, and they posted a link of something, and I don't believe he's a real doctor. And that leads me into my next spiel about him, which is, I watched a video, the epic rant he was going on, very ungrateful rant about his donations for his school. I'll get on that school a little later. I don't want to make this too long, but And in the rant, he was using language. It was the first time I really heard him speak. That was one of the videos I watched after the Breakfast Club. And in the rant, he was using language that to me does not sound like an educated man. Now, let me clarify. We all have our ways of speaking when we're around our friends, or if we're, loose and relaxed. And I'm not saying you be fake one place and be polished another. But here's the thing. There are certain things that you don't say when you're making a speech or some type of, a speech basically is what he was doing, I guess, or a lecture about gathering funds for a school you want to build. You don't get up there and talk like you just got off the corner. Some of the language he was using, it wasn't even what he was saying, it was how he was saying it. For instance, he said the word texts, like Texas. He said, I sent some Texas. You would have thought he was talking about the state of Texas, but he was talking about texts. And I know that's a hard word to pronounce. Sometimes we all probably slip up on it sometimes. But if you are making a plea for donations to start a school, you want to make sure that you enunciate. But here's the thing. I don't think he could, because it's not there. I don't believe he's an educated man. Now, he may be educated in a pseudo intellectual type way. And a lot of people, to me, forgive me, I'm not trying to insult anybody, but to me, a lot of uneducated people, and I don't necessarily mean school, degree, college, or anything like that, but just a lot of uneducated people, because there are a lot of formally educated fools, okay? But I feel a lot of uneducated people look at people like him. I call them hoteps. I know a lot of other people do too. And they think he's intelligent. But you should think he's intelligent because he's a con man. That's what he does. People like that are con men. I mean, I'm not saying some of the stuff he says doesn't hold validity, but at the end of the day, he's con man. But the way he was speaking, and the way I've heard him speak in other instances, like he went on this rant against another hotep. I was like, Lord, if this doesn't prove something right here, I don't know what does. And he was challenging the guy for a debate. He was like, you little nigga, you little bitch. And I don't even like the N-word, okay? But you're supposed to be uplifting black consciousness, but you're using words to call another brother a little nigga. And he was like, I done published books. I'm published, nigga. And I'm like, my mother is a college professor. She's been a college professor for over 30 years. I've been around other professors my whole life since I was yay high. And they were all polished speaking. I'm sure they spoke how they spoke casually, but you be damn sure if they're somewhere giving a lecture, they're not going to say something like Texas. And they're not, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not polished. He talks like a street guy. But here's my thing. You can be a street guy and then later be a an activist. I won't say a great leader because I don't like to say leaders. I believe we should lead ourselves. That's a person of any race. But here's the thing. You can be a street guy and later become an activist. Malcolm X did. But here's the thing. There's a difference because Malcolm X wasn't a con artist with his shit. He was a real activist. I believe this man is a con artist. He's sitting up here back to this rant challenging this guy. And he's like, oh, little nigga, this, and you a bitch, and you ain't published. I done wrote books, nigga. What you done, nigga? And I was like, okay, are we black activists, or are we on the street corner arguing over drug territory? Like, what the fuck are you? Which one is it gonna be? Like, he just doesn't come off like a polished, educated man. If you heard someone speak like that, and by the way, I'll put the link for what I'm talking about down in the description box. If you heard someone speaking like that, would you want to send your child to their school? Just answer that question. And I'm thinking to myself, even just as a businessman, if you are trying to be a hustler, you're not a very good one because you're not representing your brand. Okay, now on to the next thing. The next thing I noticed, which is true with most of the hoteps, is he doesn't like to include the LGBT community, and also leaves out women or singles out and picks on women a lot. Now, I just want to know, how the hell are you going to bring a group of people into a positive, better place, black people in this instance, and you leave some of the group out? It's like, oh yeah, I want to help black people. You know, we need to rise up. We need to rise up. Oh, everybody but y'all stay over there. Like, how the hell is that going to work? How do you talk about you want to uplift black people, but you're leaving gay people out? You're leaving lesbian people out. You're leaving trans people out. You're leaving sometimes women out, or marginalizing women. And you can't do that because your people still divided. And you know, it's stupid. Do I need to go any further? We see in another group, let's take white people. When white people came here and they settled in America, I'm in America. So when white people came to America, you know how it was for women. They left them out. They said all men are created equal. But what they really meant were white men, not white male landowners with coin, with money. So my whole thing is this. How well does that work when you leave someone out? You see, eventually things changed. I'm getting off the topic of Umar Johnson, but let me go on before I get too off topic. But you get what I'm saying, I hope. You can't leave people out of bringing black people together to a good place. You can't do it. Okay, so back on this donation rant. I'll put that link below too in the description box. The donation rant was crazy. It's like he wasn't even thankful for the donations he'd been given. It was sickening, really. If you haven't seen it, I'll put the link down below. Like I said, please go watch it. I'm not going to edit into this video. You can just go watch it. It's a short clip, I think. But I was just like, wow. And this is where people want to send their children. Now let's get on this school. A school for black boys. I don't think that you can legally, first and foremost, start a public or private school and discriminate based on race. You can't, like, say, hey, this school is only for black guys. You can't do that, first and foremost. But secondly, he started GoFundMe. Oh, I looked all into this because I have no life. So this was after work. And I said, you know what? I'm going to look into this more because I didn't want to just judge him off rip. But the more I started looking into it, I was like, this is a sad detriment to our community. So he has this school, supposedly. I don't believe it. I believe it's a hustle. And he's raised some money on GoFundMe. He was asking for $2 million. Now he's asking for $4 million. It might have gone up. I don't know. Or down. I haven't checked, but I saw some videos about it. But there's no school. There's no business plan. Now let me talk about people. Y'all need to be careful who you follow and who you trust. If someone is asking for donations for a business or a school, what's the first thing you're naturally going to ask for? A business plan, some type of schematic, some type of something, a plan, an outline. There's nothing, and people still donating. It just shows how gullible people can be. Just gullible. Like, listening to someone's ideas is one thing, but donating to that shit? Why? with no business plan? When you go into a bank or a financial institution for a loan for your business, what's the first thing they're going to ask for is a business plan. The guy doesn't have it. It's crazy. I'm just like, I see why people really join cults, and the cult leader gets away with so much, because some people are so gullible. It's like they're so desperate for something just to latch onto instead of trusting their gut and listening to other people around them say, hey, something's not right. If you go on any videos criticizing him, it's people on there criticizing, oh, you're an agent. So I know I'm going to have some of those people. So no, I'm not. This is a random topic I stumbled onto. I am a regular person, and I really think that you need to look into him some more, because honestly, I could see how people could get caught up in his teachings and webs or whatever, and maybe still find some truth in it. I mean, some of it's questionable to me. It's like it's alternative facts, a lot of it, and it's stuff. Some of it's just made up along the way. But here's the thing: you can't deny that something is fishy. Okay. Let me see if I'm getting everything here. Let me look at my notes. Yeah, basically. So listen, y'all. Go check out the links. Tell me what you think in the comments. I'm a regular person. I have another main channel I haven't posted in a long time. It's called Miami Vice Pastels 83. That's my main channel. This is my rant channel. I hardly ever post. But it disturbs me. It's like my people, black people, are so desperate for something to latch onto and someone to lead them that they'll overlook things sometimes like this. And you can get easily swindled and hustled. I think that's exactly what Trump, who, by the way, I refer to as Tramp supporters, it's like they're Trump supporters. It is. It's like Umar Johnson's followers, and I'm not going to call him doctor because I don't believe he's a real doctor. Umar Johnson's followers are Trump supporters. They're like that because they're so anxious to latch onto something. They're not listening to anything. Anything anyone says, oh, you're an agent, it's fake news. Agent's the equivalent of fake news with them. I mean, you can't say anything about them. And it's almost cultish. It's really scary. Let me tell you something. Anyone that asks you to follow anything that they say and everything they say without question needs investigation. That's dangerous. That's really dangerous. You know, I mean, even me, like, I question me. If I said something wrong, call me on some facts, you know. I'm not saying you got to take this and just take it how it is and not question me. If you can't go question someone, something ain't right. Something ain't right. And, this is the example I was going to use. The way we black people just blindly follow people sometimes to be leaders or activists reminds me of an example. And I thought about this when I was watching the videos. It's like if you have a high-rise fire and the firefighters are there and they have a ladder and they put it up to the 5th floor. And I go and I point out and I say, hey, some rungs are broken on that ladder. And people are like, shh, shh. And I'm like, but some rungs, shh, they want to be saved. But what you don't realize, if you don't point out those rungs on that ladder that are broken, you can end up killing those people, trying to save them. And what that example means is, if you have this black activist or leader, Umar Johnson and others like him, the Hoteps, and you don't, or any leader really, or person, and you don't question their motives, intentions, or maybe fact check them, and basically keep a dialogue going about them, you run the risk of doing more injury than good, more harm than good. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you want to save the people, and that's a ladder, but if there are broken rungs, somebody could end up with a broken leg, slip and die. You know, why wouldn't you want me to point out those broken rungs? Just bring another ladder.